Hello, happy Wednesday to my favorite Broncos. We're going to just continue on from yesterday's assignment. I'm going to remind you that I still have quite a few people that need to do Monday's assignment. So we worked really hard on getting Friday's assignment done. A couple of you I know are still having issues. Just make sure you communicate. I did email you already if you're missing something. So please make sure to check Schoology and make sure it's submitted. And if you're having issues with it, please reach out so I can help you because that is going to probably be a grade. And as well as your anecdote revision assignment, I'm really trying to ask that you make an effort to get it done by tomorrow. And then we're going to continue on with the graphic organizer we started yesterday. So I just wanted to review these metaphor notes. They're on page 2. And again, this is back to the TED Talk from Everyday Leadership, but I wanted to review what metaphors are. You guys know that they're comparing two things, not using like or as, right? But it's some physical thing that is representative or symbolic of something else. So we all know what symbolism is, but symbolism can also be metaphorical because it's comparing something to some abstract idea. So like this visual is metaphorical because it looks like an ice cream, right? But the fact that our ice caps are melting, or the fact that climate change is something that's happening in terms of us heating up, right? This is metaphorical, right? Because the earth really isn't an ice cream, but symbolically speaking, this symbolizes kind of some of the issues specifically. You know, the whole life is like a box of chocolates, even though that's a simile, it's still metaphorical because they explain how life and chocolates, like how does that scenario relate to a bigger idea about life? And then here as well, right? Walking the tightrope between your heart and your mind. All the time when we're making decisions, you know, that talks about the weight, they're hardly ever equal. Sometimes some of us tend to lean more towards thinking with our brains and logically, and sometimes people are a little bit more emotional. So this is metaphorical, right? Of walking that tightrope. It's relating this visual and these two images to a bigger idea. So you're going to watch this movie clip, and it's from The Fault in Our Stars. And they've met at a cancer support group for teenagers, and he's trying to meet with her. And he uses the metaphor of a cigarette. So I want you to watch that, and he explains it really nicely. So what argument is Augustus making with that metaphor? He explains it. What does that metaphor reveal about his character? He's almost accepting the fact that, hey, cancer sucks, but it's my mindset, right? I'm holding this cigarette between my teeth because then I can control what kills me versus my cancer. I can't control that. And then what effect does that metaphor have on Hazel? How does that affect her? Because she really is upset about not being able to breathe, rightfully so. But then when she hears his metaphor, she kind of starts thinking about her situation a little bit differently. And so that's a way of using a metaphor as a personal story to help get a point across, okay? Make sure you watch it. Then we're going to talk about metaphors in writing, okay? So figurative language, including metaphors, can be used to get your reader thinking about something. When you were younger, you might have heard the analogy of bike riding. Like my daughter is reading at school and she has uphill reading that challenges her. She has level reading where it keeps her level. Then she has downhill reading, meaning it's easy, right? And so when you're in elementary, your teachers use metaphors all the time and analogies to help you relate one concept to something visual that you could see. That's the point of metaphors. It helps us understand points a little bit better. So if you click here, it's going to take you back to yesterday's assignment in Schoology, or you could go to your drive, your Google Drive, and open it. But on page 2, you should have answered these questions on page 1. On page 2, okay, we're going to go back and we're going to read this part of Drew Dudley's talk. And he talks about a lollipop moment. It's a moment where someone said or did something that you feel, you know, that made you feel fundamentally better, that made your life better. So the metaphor is this idea of a lollipop moment. And he explains it. And you get a better understanding of like, right, who doesn't enjoy lollipops, right? Nobody's really ever forced to eat one. It's something usually given to us or something we choose that brings us joy for a brief moment. And we don't remember all the lollipops we've ever eaten, but we know for that moment, you know, we were happy and we were satisfied and pleased. So it says to click here, but I don't think I linked it. So go obviously back to the PowerPoint. But then here, I want us to consider this. You're going to choose 3 of the 4. What does he mean by a lollipop moment, right? And I have it here. Just put that in your own words. What is the purpose of comparing moments to a lollipop? Think about author's purpose. Go back to those 8 different purposes of writing, right? What was it to do for us? And then how does the metaphor support or connect with the rest of his speech? And then what is the effect? What does it do? Does it make us understand? Does it maybe clarify his overall argument? Does it give us better personal experience? What does it do? Okay, so you're just choosing 3 of the 4 to answer. And then when you're done with this entire document, those 3 questions and these 3 questions, you'll submit it back to Schoology. Okay, keep working on the 2 different things I mentioned in your agenda. So that was last Friday's writing assignment and then the revision assignment from Monday. Keep working through that as much as you can. All right, folks, I'll see you during your class period later if you're able to get on Zoom.